Hi, I'm Anne, and I'm the default cook in my home as well as a few corners of the internet. And today we're gonna go over my top 10-ish kitchen tips that I use all the time and recommend for everybody. First off is DIY kind of all-purpose seasoning. This is a nearly empty garlic powder. And when I get a replacement for it, I can fill back up about here to garlic powder, and then some salt, some pepper, maybe some onion powder, paprika. Basically what you want to put in there is the seasonings you reach for all the time. When you go to season meat, vegetables, anything that you use a lot of, go ahead and put it in there. And then instead of having to open 3, 4, 5 jars every time you go to season chicken, well, now you just need your one. And it's exactly the ratio you like, exactly the seasonings you like. Easy peasy. Another easy peasy one is transferring cream cheese to a jar. So let me grab some cream cheese real quick. This one is almost empty, so I'm gonna have to use another container here soon for this next brick of cream cheese. And if you keep it in the original foil, it tends to get a little crusty, especially if you don't use it super fast, which is why the tubs are a little advantageous. But if you put it in a container, we've had this open for a while and it's not crusty. So, super easy way to extend the life of your cream cheese without those little like nubs. Behind me is my zip top drawer. It has more than just zip tops in it. There's also like cling wrap and wax paper, but keep a Sharpie in there. That way, when you go to label something, the Sharpie is right there. I also recommend this drawer or a second Sharpie being in the drawer closest to the fridge. That way, if you need to write down on a container, say the date you opened it, anything like that, you've got the Sharpie handy right by that fridge. If you have a little extra space for it, you can also keep some painter's tape or masking tape in here. We have that in a different drawer because our kids use it to put up their paintings and artwork as well, and I don't want them messing with the Sharpies. But that's a great way to label food as well. You can put that tape on the container, comes off no issues, and you can write on the tape if your containers are not ones that you want to write on. Which it depends. There are certain containers that marker washes off of them easily because they have like little writing spots that's made for that. And also if you're buying like a sour cream from the store, you can write on it because you're probably throwing the container away at the end of its life. So I think, what else? Oh, this is a big one. And if you watched my freezing chicken breast video, you already know it, but defrosting meat in a bowl in the fridge. So if you are needing to defrost quickly and in a water bath, everything is always going to recommend, hey, change out that water, make sure it's cold water, and change it out every half hour. For this tip, you still have to start with cold water, of course, but if you put that bowl defrosting the meat with the cold water in the fridge, then it's not going to get warm. That water is going to stay cold because it's in the fridge. And then you don't have to worry about changing it out every half hour because it's still cold. If we are peeling potatoes, which I'm going to need to because these are left over from Thanksgiving and some of them are starting to get a little bit green, not too bad, but I'll need to peel them to use them. We're going to peel right over either a plastic grocery bag, a paper towel, or a kitchen towel. That way we can take those peels and just vroom them up into that and toss them away because potato peels do not go down your garbage disposal. Real good way to gum it up. Please don't do that. And as I look over here, I'm looking at my hand. This is more of like a baking tip, but sometimes things will say like, hey, roll out your dough to 12 inches wide or long or whatever. And well, how much is that? You're not going to go get a ruler to measure your dough, right? if you know certain dimensions on your hand, you can do that really easily. I know the wingspan on my pinky to my thumb is about 8 inches for our little hang loose symbol here. And that means that I can measure, okay, 8, okay, about half of that, that would be 12. So about 1.5 wingspans of my hand would be that dimension. If I'm looking for, you know, an 8x8 dish at a thrift store, like I know if my hand fits in it, then it's a 9x9. If my hand touches kind of the edges, then it's an 8x8. Just little things that are handy to know when you are looking at stuff like that. From the freezer here, I'm gonna grab some bell peppers. I cut these into fajita strips before I froze them because that's about the biggest I use bell peppers. If I need to cut them up into, you know, little bite-sized pieces for a different dish, no, I don't, because I can just bang it on the counter. And I'm kind of afraid to do that because it's going to be really loud, but that'll break things up a bit. And they just snap really easy. So that one was already snapped there, but you can just snap them. This bag was towards the front of my freezer, so it's not quite as cold. That's why you're getting a little more bend than usual. But that'll just snap like that. And now a lot of these are in considerably smaller pieces. Also, I really need to use that. These are from last year, are you kidding? Also, go through your freezer more often than I do, apparently. Just because I have a freezer and pantry inventory guide doesn't mean that I'm perfect at using it either. Life be lifin'. But yeah, those are considerably more beaten up. Another tip here, one of my favorite things to do with foil is using it to create multiple baking trays on the same tray. So I don't want to waste any, but I'm just going to show you here. I had taken this out another foot. Just pinching this up like this makes a great little like reservoir seam between two dishes. So you can use the same sheet pan and have two different sauces or flavorings by doing that. That way, if kids want a little less seasoning, no sauce, and the adults do, you can make two different things on the same pan without it running all over. You can also pinch up the edges if you need it to be like really secure that the kids' stuff doesn't get sauce on it. Or if you just want different things, like sometimes when my in-laws come out, some people want lemon pepper on their salmon, and other people want like sweet chili sauce on their salmon. And just doing that keeps things from mixing, which with the adults is not as big of a deal unless there are allergies involved. But handy little tip there. Slow cookers, if you have a warm setting on them, are fabulous for holiday get-togethers and anything where you're serving a crowd or doing something over kind of a longer period, because they can just keep things warm. Even if you didn't cook something in the slow cooker, just using it as a warmer, A+. Love that tip. Love doing that. And then last one, I think, unless I think of anything else, is ground beef. So I got this value pack on sale, and it's about 3 pounds, just over, and I'm going to take about 1 pound and make it into meatloaf that we're gonna have tonight. The other 2 pounds, I'm going to brown and then go ahead and drain it. And there's another tip. Use a paper towel to drain it. You can just kind of tilt your pan to the side. The grease will come to one edge, and then you can stick your paper towel in there with a spatula, not your hands, and grab the grease that way. It's an easy way to drain it that doesn't involve having to like put a foil into your sink drain and risk getting it in there. So that's one of my favorite ways to do that, as well as using the ground beef. So the other 2 pounds of this, we will brown, drain, and then package it into, in my family's case, 2 portions to use in spaghetti sauce or tacos or any other dish that calls for ground beef. Having it in the freezer already browned and drained and ready to go makes spaghetti nights and taco nights so fast and much more attainable on those really busy weeknights. So those are my 10-ish favorite kitchen tips. And if there are any of those that you already use or any you are looking forward to trying, go ahead and let me know what those are in the comments below. And I just want to tell you before we go that you are doing a really, really great job. I hope somebody else is telling you that too, but I'm for sure going to keep saying it because you are. You're doing a great job taking care of your family, and I'm really proud of you.